right, guys, so you are thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area and you can't decide between the east side of the valley or the west side of the valley. What is the difference? Let me tell you, you've been doing your research on the internet. You've been looking at Facebook and social media and Reddit. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, occasionally I get on Reddit and I cannot believe the stuff that goes on there. It's a bunch of people that don't even live here that have their own opinions. Keyboard warriors is what I call them. Anyways, we're going to cover everything down to the nitty gritty, like why each part of the valley is the way it is and what's coming up in the greater Phoenix area, because you know we're exploding at the seams. You're not going to want to miss this video because we're going to get down on it right now, nitty gritty, for you to make the right decision for your move to the greater Phoenix area. Here we go. Hey guys, it's Sheryl Willis over at the Real Agent Now group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And if this is the first time to our channel, you're going to want to smash that subscribe button and click that little bell so that you are notified each and every time we release a new video. We are getting dozens of calls every single day, and we love it. Look, if you're thinking about moving to the Phoenix area and you can't make heads or tails of what's the truth, what's the myth, and what's reality in the greater Phoenix area, and if you are looking for places to live, eat, sleep, drink, play, everything from entertainment to schools to freeways, this video, we are going to cover it, and you need to pick up that phone so that we can answer your personal questions as it relates to you moving to the greater Phoenix area. So pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, so you're moving to the Phoenix area. Look, you're probably moving here either for work or to get new work, right? Everything, unfortunately, in our lives revolves around employment. So let's take a look real quickly and see what kind of employment we have and where in the greater Phoenix area. Now, the first map here that we have is all about manufacturing and distribution, which Arizona is in prime location. And as you can see in this map, Interstate 10 is just surrounded by massive warehouses and distribution centers that obviously make it super easy for the trucks to head on out of town. We also have a train line that also carries things in and out of the greater Phoenix area. But as you now morph over to our high-tech industry and you look at where aerospace, finance, healthcare, and again, the high technology and the semiconductor and the chip manufacturing, it's predominantly on the east side of town. And you know what? Those are the highest paying jobs. In fact, our income median for the technology industry here in the greater Phoenix area is in excess of $150,000. So let's look at the next heat map where we can show you where the median income is, where people are living in the greater Phoenix area. Now, if you look at these darker blue areas, you can see this is where the highest income households are. So chances are those are probably going to be the most expensive areas, right? If you'll notice, the majority of them are on the east part of the valley. We have Scottsdale in the northeast. We have the tech hub in the southeast valley. But look what's happening on the west side of the valley. We are starting to see some high paying jobs and some high paying income in some very, very nice areas on the west part of town. So let's break it down a little bit more. When you're thinking about moving to different areas and you're thinking about lifestyle, what is it you like to do? Well, you're probably going to want great schools. And up until probably just a few years ago, almost all of the great schools were located on the east part of the valley. But you know what? The west part of the valley has some 10 out of 10 reading schools too. If you go to the newer communities, that's where you're going to find those amazing schools. Just a little trick right there. Now, as far as, let's just call it beautification, like the views, we have mountain views in every direction. But are they the same views? No. Let me tell you, the west side of town has the most beautiful sunsets. Now, I have to say the sun setting on the Superstition Mountains, which is on the east side of town, really is hard to be beat. All right, so you got sunsets everywhere, but you know what? The desert's not the same. The desert on the east part of the valley has a lot more water. And just naturally, it has more floods too, which is not really a good thing. But we've kind of fixed that a lot with the washes and directing water away from the housing communities. So we don't have as many flooding issues. But because the water is more prevalent on the east part of town, and that's also where the majority of the farming and agricultural fields from the early 1900s originally existed. So what you're going to see on the east part of the valley is you're going to see big old fat saguaros. You're going to see beautiful tall trees. You're going to see a lot more green. You're going to see grass. Yes, I really said grass, although a lot of people are moving over to the turf now, but you are going to see even water communities. There are more lake communities in the city of Chandler than any other part, even Scottsdale, of the greater Phoenix area. But outside of the development, I'm telling you, the desert views on the east part of the valley are insane. I'm talking picturesque. When you see those images on, if you're internet, Arizona desert, and you see the really beautiful, colorful ones, like I said, with the big old fat trees and the lots of arms and stuff, that's all predominantly coming from the east part, the Tonto Forest. Now, if you're on the west part of town and you're heading north, you're going to take 17. And I do go up there a lot because I'm a big hiker and I love to get up into the mountains. And once you get up into the mountains, they're equally as beautiful, whether you're on the east part of the state or the west part of the state. But getting there is very different. The west part of 17, well, it's the west part of the valley, and taking the 17 up north, it's not so pretty. Just saying, it's kind of an ugly desert. It's Yavapai County, and it's just different desert. And that also is kind of what the west part of the greater Phoenix area looked like before they started building. Now, because the east side has a lot more of the water, slightly different temperature. I think it's funny when people in North Scottsdale say it's cooler up here. It is by like 1 degree. When it's 110, what's the difference between 110 and 109? Anyways, on the east side of the town, on the east side of the valley, it's also a lot of tourism. If you take a look at the slide, look at where all the tourist and recreation and parks and hospitality is taking place. Do you know that Arizona generates almost $4 billion in tax revenue in the tourist industry? And it goes to the cities where the money is spent. So the cities on the east side of town have also invested a lot more in public parks, walkways, paths, biking paths. There's all kinds of things. The parks are just insane. It's crazy. Gilbert is even building one called the Gilbert Regional Park, which will be the largest park in the entire state. It is going to have water and horseback riding and concerts, and it's just going to be insane. Now, the west part of the valley, they do have some nice parks too, but really nothing that just compares to any of the parks that you see on the east part of the valley. Now, the west part of the valley, I'll tell you what they got going on in Glendale, that's some fun stuff. That is called Westgate Entertainment Center, and it is a blast most of the time. When there's a big football game or maybe a great concert or anything like that, it's really happening. Spring training, which that's all over the valley, but there's a lot going on when there's events. When there's not events, it's kind of crickets. Anyways, the big benefit for living on the west side is housing is much more affordable. I always tell people you get what you pay for. So if you take the exact same home, let's just say in Litchfield Park, and the same home in Gilbert, you're probably going to pay somewhere between 40 and 60% more in Gilbert. Gilbert was rated the #1 safest city in America. So with that comes higher home prices. You're talking, again, almost all of the schools in the Southeast Valley are incredible. The high schools are outstanding, but you can find some on the west part of the valley too. You just have to be selective. And here's another thing. If you're a luxury home buyer and you don't have to live close to work, I would highly recommend that you do look on the west part of town, because I'm telling you, the west part of the valley is going to see more appreciation than the east side of the valley because it has more room to go up. And we, the greater Phoenix area, will see an estimated 1 million more people over the next 10 years. And guess where they're going to be moving? On the west part of the valley, not to mention a ginormous employer that is going into the northwest area called Taiwan Semiconductor. They alone are bringing 8,000 jobs. And when they are open and fully operating, which will be over the next 5 years, all those other ancillary businesses, which have already started to come in, are going to even come in more. So we are going to see a whole lot more building on the west part of the valley. The freeways are already there. It's kind of funny when you're driving through the 303, you're kind of like, where am I driving through? It's just desert. That's because they are going to be building along the freeway. Kind of a neat concept, right, guys? Build a freeway before people have to use it. Arizona is awesome. Now, again, for local amenities, let's just take a look at the two most requested things I get from home buyers is I want to live near a Whole Foods. Well, if you look at the Whole Foods market, that's only on the East Valley right now. But you know what? We have Sprouts. And Sprouts is kind of like the smaller little guy that's not nearly as expensive. But if you ask me, better than Whole Foods. And then also Costco. We have more Costcos here in the greater Phoenix area than you know what to do with. They're never really too far away. They're closer on the East Valley. They're more prevalent. But again, they've been building on the west side. Sorry, now I'm getting confused. They've been building a lot more. The jobs have been heavier, higher paying on the East Valley for a lot longer. On top of the whole, tourist business. But you're going to see that on the West Valley. So if you're patient, you're going to save a lot more money living on the west part of the valley. You're going to get more house for your money. You can still get great school districts. They are building 2 new Costcos on the west side of the valley. So there's a lot to be had for the west side, especially if you're on a budget. And there's still some amazing views and little downtowns and entertainment. It's just a little bit of a drive away right now. So it'll come around in about 5 to 10 years. So if you got the time, I think West Side is a great decision. All right, guys, if you are thinking about moving to the Phoenix area and you're trying to figure out the best spot that works for you and your family, your future, then you're going to want to pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to Arizona. And I want to hear from you soon, even if it's 1 or 2 years away. We want to be your go-to when you're thinking about buying in Phoenix area. Have a good one. See y'all soon. Bye.